This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi everyone, Rusty back here with your latest Meteo Mundo video. Thank you so much for tuning in. In this video, we'll take a look at some potential tropical development for the week ahead, and of course look at where some of the areas with the best chance for rain across the Caribbean are going to be. Thanks for liking the video. Let's get into it. When I extend my hands, if you look on either side, you'll see there's two areas of interest and they couldn't be farther apart. We have the opportunity, a low chance of some development in the southwest Gulf of Mexico early this week, and then a higher chance with that tropical wave which has emerged off the West African coast as it moves quickly north and west into the eastern side of the Atlantic. That's the one we've been watching the last couple days. Again, with that higher chance, we'll move into that one first, put this satellite imagery into motion, and you can see on this Monday, it certainly looks more organized, okay? And the Hurricane Center does continue with a high chance of development, an 80% chance. And I got to tell you, if it's going to develop, more than likely it's going to over the next 2 days, over the next 48 hours. That's when conditions appear the most favorable. So we're looking at a high-end chance for at least a tropical depression. But really, we may not even get a tropical storm, and I'll show you why coming up. It's going to be short-lived regardless. That's what all the models are showing here. Again, tropical depressions, they only get numbers. You got to get to a tropical storm to get a name. But if we do get a tropical storm, it's going to be named Sean. That's the S-name storm of the Atlantic hurricane season. We continue to add products here to Meteo Mundo. I want to show you this. This is really interesting off of our extended GOES satellite imagery. This is water vapor. It's kind of like streaks of moisture in the atmosphere, and you can clearly see that this is beginning to wrap up with some moisture here. And again, a high chance of at least a tropical depression. The red areas that you see are drier air. That sometimes is bad, that sometimes is okay, because if these storms get going, they kind of create their own environment, and dry air doesn't necessarily matter. However, if you look up here, we are beginning to see some moisture coming in off of the east coast of the United States, moving into the central Atlantic. There is some wind shear associated with that, and that interacting with some drier air could spell a quick end to whatever this is going to end up becoming. So let me show you the future rain with this. It's the same model that I showed you over the weekend. Going to kind of move it over here, and we'll put that into motion for you here. Couple of things of note. First of all, again, on this model, and it's going to start to loop here, if it develops, it does so again in the next couple of days. It moves it quickly to the north. It dissipates it quickly. Now, this is a little bit closer shave for the Cabo Verde Islands, where they could at least get some gusty winds and some rain out of this system if it were to turn this quick up to the north. But again, look how it quickly dissipates as we get towards the end of the time frame. So I'm going to pause this model here and zoom it back to the beginning, and we'll go back in time. I want to stop it here as we get into our Wednesday morning. This looks to be about the most wrapped up this system is. Again, maybe a tropical depression, maybe a weak tropical storm, but as it lifts north and it begins to encounter that drier air and shear combination, look how quickly the GFS model absolutely rips this system apart. If I zoom out again, you'll clearly see that trough line beginning to move into the area. So again, short-lived system, well away from the Windward and Leeward Islands, thousands of miles really, but again, the Cabo Verde Islands, we'll be monitoring that. I can also show you the wind gusts with this as well. And again, we'll take a look at the same scenario here, put this into motion. It's going to take a little bit of time to pick up the model, but you'll see again that even compared to yesterday, it's a little bit weaker. Instead of really having some reds and some pinks were indicative more of tropical storm conditions, it kind of keeps the system even weaker. It's all good news as far as that goes here. Again, I'll let it kind of stop it here. We'll take it back just a little bit for you. And again, where is it strongest? Maybe right about there where we actually have maybe, again, a small core of tropical storm winds. But again, it's short-lived. As it gets just to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands, it begins to dissipate. Now, I want you to notice this is the same model. It brought some rain over the Cabo Verde Islands, but it also kept the strongest winds away. And again, here you go, encountering that trough, that shear, and absolutely dissipates it very quickly. So we'll be monitoring that area closely for you. But again, the news overall is looking pretty good. Back to the southwest Gulf of Mexico, we'll put this into motion. This little area just crept up over the last 24 hours or so. So there's a 20% chance of development as it lifts to the north. And if this is going to develop, it's going to have to in the next 2 days, because eventually it's going to encounter this frontal boundary that's in the northern Gulf of Mexico and basically not moving. Then it merges with that, becomes kind of a hybrid system. But as I zoom out, what's really happening is it's picking up moisture from tropical systems in the far eastern Pacific, and it's streaming over Mexico and into the northern Gulf Coast states. So we are going to have a lot of moisture coming in from this area and then moving across the northern Gulf Coast states. It's going to be wet for the northern Gulf Coast and potentially for portions of the Bahamas as well. Again, same thing. I'll show you the water vapor imagery. It's very clear to see that moisture overrunning Mexico and getting into the southwest Gulf of Mexico. Three very impressive systems here. But again, the one we're focused on the southwest Gulf, 20% chance of development. Let me take this model. I'm going to have that zoomed out area. I'm going to bring it back over to this region right here. Let's zoom in just a little bit. And then again, I'll put this model back into motion. Just want to make sure that I have the right parameter set before I hit click. There we go. So let me loop that for you real quickly. And again, what you're going to see here when the model gets back to the beginning is you're going to see that moisture coming back over Mexico and just spreading that rain. Look at this again, merging with that frontal boundary and spreading a rain across the northern Gulf Coast states. And that's going to be what this system is ultimately going to end up being. Again, just a really low chance that we actually get any tropical development. Again, we'll zoom in just a little bit for you here. But again, as we get into Wednesday, this all kind of merges, and look at all of that heavy rain for the northern Gulf Coast. Now, for the Bahamas, the GFS model keeps most of the heaviest rain north of our area. I would expect some passing showers. We might even get some tropical downpours. But as far as really getting a lot of rain out of this, it's really going to depend how far south that frontal boundary gets. If it sticks to the far northern Gulf of Mexico, we might not get any more than some passing showers. Let me take this model, drop it back down to just a couple of day time frame, and we'll look at the rain chance across the rest of the area. Now, again, you can see over the next couple of days, even though that moisture is well off towards the west, that frontal boundary is still into play, and scattered showers are possible over the Bahamas. Now, again, I do a separate video for the entire Bahamas. If you're looking for that, just go back to our Meteo Mundo homepage after this video, and you'll find separate videos for Jamaica and the Bahamas. For our friends in the Dominican Republic, you're far enough away where we're actually beginning to dry out a bit here, looking at a low chance for showers for the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, the Windward and the Leeward Islands. One area of interest still is going to be Jamaica. And again, look for that separate video for some of the moisture that'll be in play there. But the highest chances for rain are the areas that I just mentioned. So for our friends in San Juan, just a 20% chance for an isolated shower. And then we begin to actually dry out even more with basically no chance for rain on Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, excessive heat warnings continue for San Juan because morning lows still are only in the lower 80s. You're not getting any relief from the heat during the evening and the overnight. I have a few showers in the forecast on Thursday, but those kind of last only one day. And then for Friday, we're back to mostly sunny conditions and a high of 87 degrees. Thanks for watching, friends. If you enjoyed the content and it helped you out, just do me one favor, subscribe to the channel. Just click that subscribe button. I can't tell you how much it helps us out here. We appreciate you. We'll see you back for the newest forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas right here at Meteo Mundo.